We live in a world that tells us to be strong, to stay positive, to get over it. But what if healing doesn't come from pushing pain away? What if it comes from actually feeling it? You can't heal what you refuse to feel. And yet, most of us have been taught to run from our emotions, to hide, to distract, to medicate, to smile through the pain. We've been told to fake it till we make it, as if pretending we're okay will somehow make it true. But emotions are energy in motion, divine messengers carrying wisdom from the soul. When we suppress them, we silence our own inner guidance. And when we allow ourselves to truly feel, we come back home to ourselves. So many of us say, I'm fine, when we're anything but fine. We've learned to override our truth, to keep up appearances, to stay in control. But real healing begins the moment we stop pretending and start getting honest with ourselves, with what's really going on inside of us. When I started working in the field of narcissistic abuse recovery and helping people to move through the dark night of the soul, which is a very long passageway that we go through when we are shedding old layers of ourselves and donning new ones, getting closer to who we really are. This was a couple decades ago that I started doing this work, and I always felt it was my duty or my job to help people to get out of pain. People would come to me and oftentimes the worst pain they've been in, the worst emotional pain that they've been in their lives. And they would come to me and say, I just want to get out of this pain. It's horrible. I can't bear it. And when I was unable to help somebody get out of pain when they would come to me, like in the first session or the first two sessions, I started to feel like somehow I was a failure, that I wasn't doing it right. So I went within myself and I started reflecting on why I couldn't help people or what was going on. And I heard a voice within me that said, Kaleah, your job is not to help people to get out of pain. Your job is to help to guide them through it. And that's where everything changed. I felt the truth of that. And I knew the truth of that for myself as I moved through my own dark night of the souls, as I found myself in the worst pain of my life. It was never about getting out of pain. It was about learning to be present with the pain and learning how to walk through it. So we have so much conditioning in our society that says we need to get out of pain. And that might involve taking a drink or a drug or distracting ourselves in some way. And when we do this, we're not moving into it. We're not moving through it. We're avoiding it. We're standing at the threshold of the pain and always trying to keep it at bay. And what happens when you push a beach ball underwater is it keeps popping back up, and you shove it back down and it pops back up. And this is what happens with our pain. If we don't actually embrace our emotional pain, regardless of how bad it is, we are not going to move through it. We might float above it, we might avoid it, we might distract ourselves from it, but we are not going to move through it. And if you do not move through your pain, it's always like that beach ball. It's always going to pop back up and pop back up and pop back up. And this is why alcoholics, when they go into treatment, or drug addicts, The recovery program is about dealing with what's going on, not running from it, not trying to avoid it, but actually being with the pain. And that became my work, is to help to sit with people and help them navigate through their pain by being with it, by expressing it, by allowing those tears. And I would do processes with people where I would say, I want you to step into your pain. And on a scale of 1 to 10, what are you feeling? And of course, it's usually 10, 9 or 10. And I would ask them to really voice what their pain is. I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling rejected. I feel so betrayed. I feel abandoned. Whatever came up for them at that moment, we went deeper into it instead of avoiding it. I would ask them to sit there and say, I feel abandoned 10 times with their eyes closed, going within and tuning into the feeling and feel where it was showing up in the body. Was it in the heart? Was it in the throat? Was it in the solar plexus? And tapping into that, really going into that space and saying, I feel abandoned. And with emotion, with as much feeling as they could express, to say it 10 times. And then at the end of 10 times, I would ask them, where are you now on that scale? And I don't know one time that I've done this exercise with somebody where the pain level didn't go down quite a lot. Sometimes it went down to a 2 or 3 from a 10 just by doing that exercise. And if it didn't go down far enough, we would do it again. Or if they were doing it rotely, like, I feel abandoned, something like that, where they weren't really, I feel abandoned, where they weren't really getting into that pain, I would invite them to go deeper and get into that pain and express it, identify it. And not only did this bring the threshold of pain down immediately and give them a tool that they could use, but they were suddenly starting to know how to work with that pain, to how to be with it instead of trying to escape it or avoid it or get out of it. Because the whole idea of getting out of pain suggests that we are escaping it in some way. And this is really quite a conditioning of our society. That our society, we're really pain phobes, just like we're death phobes. We're afraid of pain, we're afraid of death. And we do everything we can to dance around the subjects. And we also do what we can to shut it down in other people. And this is why a lot of people who came to me in the worst pain of their lives said, I feel abandoned by everyone in my life because nobody can handle being around me. And that's because if someone is in intense emotional pain, it can trigger the suppressed pain in other people. And so what do? They say, just let it go. Get over it already. And they say things that are so not helpful. And you don't feel that you can sit with that person at all. You don't feel like you can be honest with them. So what do you do the next time you see them? Oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Because you don't feel like you have any kind of permission to be in pain. And I want to give you permission today to be with your pain, to be exactly where you are in your pain, regardless of what anybody says around you. We live in an age where even people that are considered to be highly spiritual, that meditate all the time, that are doing a lot of internal work, so to speak, are still pain phobes. They're still avoiding their pain. They're doing what we call spiritual bypass, which is taught in our society, especially in the world of metaphysics, where we're taught to fake it till you make it. We're taught to put on a happy face. And even Neville Goddard, who I have worked with, he's a teacher of manifestation. And he would always say, feeling is the secret. And he had it right. Feeling is the secret. But what he taught was that you need to feel or act as if the thing that you want is already there. So if you wanted to feel better, you just had to act as if you felt better to try to bring that feeling on. Well, how would I like to feel? And let's go there. And I believe that Neville Goddard's work is real and there's a lot of value to it, but it hasn't been helpful to most people that I work with for this reason, is it still takes you out of where you are. And of course, most people want to be out of where they are. They don't want to be in pain. They hate it. It's intense. But the reason that people in pain and trauma, why manifestation principles or techniques don't work for them, is that they're not being honest with where they are right now. They're pushing that beach ball down and trying to paint a pretty picture over the top, and that doesn't work. The only way out is through. We have to be willing to go through it. And going back to what a lot of people that do spiritual bypass, that's where words like let it go, get over it, visualize a happy place, things like that, where it really isn't helpful. Because how many people in your life are willing to just sit with you and go, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. What can I do to support you? And if you're saying, I just need to talk about it, I just need somebody I can talk to. And if that person's willing to just keep their mouth shut and let you talk, let you express your pain without them reacting and leaving their body because they can't handle it, because it's triggering them, because it's bringing up all the times that they're shoving their pain down, or maybe their unresolved pain, what they haven't dealt with in their life, their grief that they painted a pretty picture over the top of. So the only way that we're really going to get out of pain is to walk through it. When you're giving yourself permission to go into your pain, to actually be with it, to feel it, to be present in it, to identify it, to voice it, you're actually moving it, because emotion is energy in motion. So you're able to move through it. You're able to release that as you go into it. And that brings that threshold of pain down lower and lower. And I'm not saying that the next day another layer doesn't show up, because when you're going through a dark night of the soul, that pain is going to, when you're going through a dark night of the soul, the layers of pain will start to surface. And this is because you may have a lifetime of suppressing and pushing down and medicating. And now this dark night of the soul is the opportunity to shed that pain body, to shed those layers. And so you might go into, I feel abandoned, and really, really feel that. And a lot of times when I worked with people, they would switch gears in the middle of the 10 times that they were to repeat it. They'd be going, I feel abandoned. I feel abandoned. I feel rejected. I feel rejected, and so they would get more in touch with what they were feeling. And feeling isn't mental. It's not an intellectual process. It's a physical body sensation. It's emotional. It's energy. So you can't think your pain away. You can't give yourself a thought antidote for your pain. Don't think about it. Just don't think about it. You can't not think about it because it's there. It's present. You can avoid it. You can medicate it, but you can't not think about it. You can distract yourself. So realize that this is not an intellectual process. It's an energetic and physical process because those emotions are stored in the body. It's what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body. And we also often call it the inner child. And we call it the inner child because a lot of this pain started in early childhood and we didn't have the tools then or the ability or even the support to deal with our pain. So it went into the shadows. So we see the inner child as being in the shadows, in those dark places within ourselves that we dare not go. So when we do inner child work, we bring that pain that the child experienced up and we hold space for ourselves. We love ourselves. We embrace ourselves so that we can move through it. And this is really the only way to heal on an emotional level, is to feel. Feeling is healing. I hope this has been helpful for you. And if you need some help and support and an environment for being honest with yourself in your pain, where you're not going to be mocked or spiritual bypassed or anything else, I am creating a support group for people that are going through a dark night of the soul or recovering from narcissistic abuse or any other kind of toxic relationship situation that has brought up this kind of pain. You can join the support group. It's getting ready to launch, and I will put the link in the description below. I'd love to have you participate with me in that. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next podcast.